Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
When people say that white people have no culture, are they lying or are they just too dumb to understand it? Because for most of human history, the king or the government was above the law, but the European would change that. So in the 1000s, there was this guy, William the Conqueror. He was the descendant of a Viking, and his ancestors had settled France. The Vikings, like the Celtics and the Anglo-Saxons and the Romans and the Spartans, were warriors who were brave and courageous. And when they got to France, they, like all Europeans, became more and more influenced by Christianity. And that's when warrior culture began to morph into chivalry. And now people were expected to be brave, courageous, loyal, display self-control, protect women and children, and above all, carry yourself with honor. Well, in 1066, William the Conqueror conquered England, which established the feudal system. And the new nobility earned their land through combat, bravery, and honor. Knights through chivalry, protection, and honor. This feudal system created a culture of order and respect. But fast forward 200 years, and England had a corrupt king. He was levying absurd taxes, throwing people in jail whenever he wanted, and confiscating land. But that was a bad idea in an honor-based culture. And after a rebellion, King John would be forced to sign the Magna Carta. And the Magna Carta changed everything. Because for the first time in human history, the law was placed above even the king. This was a revolutionary advancement in the human experience. The government, the king, was now bound by the law because it had never been this way anywhere. But it was the honor culture of the European that would change that. And it established fair trials and limitations on taxes. This was revolutionary. And the Magna Carta led to the establishment of English common law, which is the foundation of law that everyone takes for granted today. This law is the culmination of the intersection between Christianity, warrior culture, and the feudal system. Well, fast forward to 1776, and the Magna Carta is a primary influence over the Declaration of Independence, and later the Constitution and our Bill of Rights, along with the Greek democracy, the Roman Republic, the Italian Renaissance, the Catholic Church, the Protestant Reformation, and the French Enlightenment ideals of individual liberty, which expanded upon the Magna Carta's revolutionary ideals of individual rights. And it's what made upward mobility a possibility for really the first time in human history, and created the culture of rugged individualism, a uniquely American experience. In short, American culture is the culmination of all of the great contributions the European people have made to the world. It's the Viking warrior, it's Christianity, it's chivalry, honor, respect, bravery, order. It's the Magna Carta and English common law. It's the Greek democracy and the Roman Republic. It's the Italian Renaissance and French Enlightenment. It is individual liberty and the rugged individualist. And our children should be taught to be damn proud of that. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs.
Ooh. The creation of Western civilization. Pride in being white. Or how about just not the guilt of being white? The history of not just a small section of time. And the culpability of all the things that have happened in our country get traced back to, oh, it has to be white people. But back to truth. The thing that is completely missing from our culture, completely missing from our country. And you saw that diagram where you had the line that had law and it had the crown. And what's happened in the United States, what's happened in Europe, what's happened all over the world is that people that could never govern themselves, with a few people that are inside of our society that have basically betrayed everything about what we represent, have taken that line of law and put it not below the king, but below groups of people who have decided that the rest of us are irrelevant and can be eliminated. That's where we are today. That's what we're seeing over in Europe. That's the 25,000, 35,000, 45,000 murders and rapes that have happened by third world country inhabitants that come into a world where we have been driven by simple ethics, morals, and honor. Today's going to be enlightening because we're going to bring someone on that, frankly, I need him to know. I need Casey to know that, frankly, what he did in Ohio was worth it. He's going to be joining me for a short period of time. He doesn't have a ton of time. I'm going to take the time that I get from him, but I want to tell you that we're bound by rules, not whims. Peace, order, prosperity followed the idea that we create standards, and those standards in the Magna Carta said, here are what you must operate from. America was largely founded on those principles, and yet we've been able to push that aside and say, hey, listen, we're going to let all these bad things happen, and you will shut your mouth, slave. See, when history retells what we are today, 200 years from now, it will be a story that brought us right back into the Vikings, of bravery, courage, and more often than not, the fight against evil that is necessary to get to a place where we could have the Magna Carta. Because when you take Christianity and you mix it with a feudal system and you allow for us to create standards by which we operate, society truly thrives. That's what happened in the United States. One nation under God. But when you eliminate that, you put yourself into much bigger problems. So is America becoming the new Europe? We have to ask ourselves that question. And when we look at globalist control of mass migration and our own citizens being put at the end of the line, we have to be academic about this. The judiciary is so rotted to the core that, frankly, you can't make sense of claims and you can't make sense of what lawyers are able to do to manipulate rotted judiciaries and rotted people. I'm not going to waste a lot more time because I want to just get to Casey. And I want to talk to Casey about his race that he just had against Vivek Veeraswamy. And I think we're going to get to the bottom of this because they threw every dog whistle in the world they could at him. So with that said, Casey, welcome to the show.
Howdy, man. Always good to be here. I appreciate it.
It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you. So let's talk about your race, can we?
Absolutely. What do you want to talk about?
The media reported your loss as a landslide defeat.
Yeah, they want to camouflage what it really was.
Yeah, and I think I said that to you before because before we were talking before you even came on. You got 17.5%, nearly 150,000 votes in Ohio with a budget of $120,000.
Yeah, we spent less than $1 per vote. Nobody else can say that.
And how much do we know how much Vivek spent on this campaign?
I think there's been something like $25 million blown in the last 1 year in his primary, either their own money or PAC money. And keep in mind, not only has he been campaigning for more than twice as long as me, specifically for governor, he was campaigning for the year and a half prior to that for president. So that is a massive head start. He had the endorsement of Trump, the White House, the entirety of the GOP, and bought his way on basically every podcast and news thing possible, the ones of which would not allow me to speak. So I had the entirety of the machine against me as well.
Okay, so let's talk about what you were able to accomplish. There are times that you came on this show, and I think one of the connections that you and I have as brothers is that, you'll start off saying something. I'm like, absolutely not. You get back in that fight. You could be in a really bad mood, and we just seem to we work that problem.
Yeah.
You get right back out.
Yeah, I go straight real talk with you. I don't go diplomat. And you are definitely the get back on the horse, shut up. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but isn't this BS? As I ride off.
Yeah, it is. But you ride off. You've never not gotten back on the horse. You've always finished your commitment and stayed true to it, regardless of how many shots they took at you.
Well, it's true. And the thing about it is there were people trying to smear the campaign as like we weren't trying to win or something. Like, darn right we were trying to win. Did you notice the resources we had or the small amount thereof? With regard to that, the other thing about it is too, it's like, yeah, well, no one else is trying to take down this corrupt globalist Trojan horse. So I better stay in it, even if my resources are small, because if I weed myself out, guess what? We already lost.
Right. Well, so you got 150,000 votes on 120 grand. I'm just extrapolating it out. So if you would have given you almost $1 million, you would have captured nearly every vote.
If you go by those metrics, possibly, yeah, possibly.
But I want to talk about the media's influence in slandering you, seeing you as a grassroots candidate, a candidate that really cared about not just America first, but Ohio first. And there was this gravity that happened where people were drawn to you because of the authenticity that you had just in how you spoke to people. Like, hey, is this important to you? And they would sit in front of you. And I remember talking to a woman who, I was out there talking about election fraud, and I sat out there. She called me. She goes, "This Casey guy is just really special." And I said, "Yeah, he is." She goes, "I showed up just gung ho for Vivek, and I was going to ask him questions, say I'm going to vote for Vivek." She goes, "But I ended up giving him money." So she was one of the people that gave you money and switched teams by having a conversation with you. So it's infectious. But the media came out and did some really bad things to kind of
but I had some fun with it too.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Well, when I think you're speaking media, you're speaking traditional media. You know, the news organizations, and they would report on it when we announced. And the ones that I knew were going to be leftist, they were shocked that the things I was saying was reasonable. Obviously, despite being a Republican, I said, "Well, that's because all my policy and everything is based on what is in the best interest of all the people of Ohio."
Right.
So it was fascinating because early on, it seemed like they were having a hard time to find anything to be negative about, because there wasn't anything to be negative about. You could tell they wanted to try. But it was later in the campaign, and it's fascinating because I'll tell you this, in social media, including like 3 days before we announced, 3 days after, a different like paid influencer attack dog would try to take me down. None of them worked, not a single one. It always backlashed, and frankly, it was fun to beat them up. And then by the time we were on the ballot, and we're starting to have rallies and meetings and things like that. That's when the news popped off, and I think the first big thing where they tried to take me down was, obviously my name is German. It's a very rare last name, and the definition means thrust or blow, and it's also used to the German word for either German and English, a violent attempt to overthrow the government, which anybody that knows that would smile and kind of joke, because I was running for office naturally. But the most famous putsch was the one in a Munich beer hall in, I think, like 1923, when Adolf Hitler tried to overthrow the Weimar Republic. And so what's funny about this is we did a rally in a brewery and beer hall in Toledo.
And you had a guy outside that thought you were came out to.
But it was funny because I know this sounds like it's not going to be funny, but to me it was hilarious. Our campaign team just put out a flawlessly, just perfect ad, on X, and it just said, Putsch Georgetown, governor, lieutenant governor name, picture me, and it said the location of brewing. It said beer hall rally, Toledo beer hall rally, and the media lost its mind. X lost its mind. That ad was viewed, I don't know, like 750,000 times. Of course, everybody wants to call you a Nazi. And so they try to cancel the event. And I think what happens are people from the right that want you to go down will go on places like Reddit and stoke the fire for the radical leftists, because then the radical leftists will do the attacking for them.
Yes.
And they'll try to get you canceled. And so the event didn't want to do it. And I'm like, well, they didn't specifically say don't come. They just said take the ad down. So let's just go. And so, but what happened was, while this was going on and it was so absurd, and I thought to myself, I'm going to play this like a YouTuber. I'm going to get ahead of this wave because I know this stupid game they're going to play. I'm going to make them absurd.
Right.
So I had my wife. I've got a few oil paintings that I've collected at antique stores, and this one still life in a gilded frame that I bought. It's like flowers and a seashell. I bought in Germany. It's German. It's from like the 1920s. And I told my wife, take a picture of me. I'm going to stand in front of the bookshelf like this. I'm going to look away from the camera, kind of look sad, like this. And so I took this picture of me holding this old oil painting from Germany. And I had my campaign team go, breaking news. On Monday, Casey will put a video out about the true origins of his German last name before information is leaked, and we'll go national. So everybody's going to immediately think, oh my God, he's related to Hitler, and this is stolen Nazi-like artwork or something like that. So we did that, and then I just laid low until Monday. And so I did a video. Did you see the one where I rickrolled everybody?
Oh yeah, I saw.
So I did the one where it was like a big out, and then basically just rickrolled everybody, where you get to the point where everybody's going to think you're related to Hitler or something. And I go, we're serious admirers of Rick Astley. And that was fun because I rickrolled, I don't know, 500,000, 1 million people. And that, of course, was before the rally at the beer hall that the media went kooky over. And at the end of the video, I said, I'm over this PSYOP. We're all over this, beating up on the Germans. Anybody that drives their German car to this event, I will personally buy a beer. I'm driving my Porsche. And then, so that I had a lot of fun with that. And that's when that kooky guy with the NASCAR hat came and tried to get all up in my face. And it got recorded, and that got viewed 750,000 times. And everybody's like, that's my statement. That's how you deal with a lunatic. And it was on liberal hive mind and whatnot. So that was one of the fun first forays. But they kept trying, and there was other difficulties as well.
So I want to talk about this because the people that came after you are the same people that have come after me. They're radically left, right? So you have this establishment deal, but they use these dog whistles. And in this case, there was a central focal point on negative press, an article from the Times of Israel and the forward. And it went back.
Sorry, this will be good.
It went back to a YouTube video where you asked X's AI chatbot Grok to list good qualities of Adolf Hitler. Media outlets characterize this as that you were sympathizing.
Yeah, first of all, it's the Times of Israel, so it's all BS anyway. But it says to praise Hitler. That's simply untrue. They're obviously slanting it on purpose. And I can't even remember the point of it. It was.
I went back and watched it. You did not. You were basically, the point was you were looking into what the chat bots themselves were doing, and you've done this before. You did other videos with this before. So you were trying to point out the ridiculousness of the chat bots and the fact that there are trained responses to pretty much everything. Yeah. It was very simple, right? I mean, anyone that academically looked at it would be like, okay, well, this makes sense. You're showing people the confusion that's created and really the dangers of the fact that AI is just not what they say it is.
Correct. The other reason why all this is blowing up in anybody's face that keeps trying to do this dog whistle stuff or call you a Nazi or discredit anything like that, the public's not actually retarded. And the truth of the matter about history is no leader of any nation or dictator or anything, or most of them, came to power through magic, a magic spell of being Satan. So the fact that the public now realizes you can't even talk about certain historical events or people are starting to not be cool with that anymore because they realize that they're being censored from even considering historic times.
Yeah, so I want to put that back up for a second, right where it was in that article. I want to point something out. So if you put it up, and it talks about Vivek Ramaswamy, the former presidential candidate who has the U.S. President Donald Trump's backing, prevails with 82.5% of the vote. Now look, Vivek is not President Trump. Like there is no. I mean, he's like the Temu, the guy. I mean, he's like a Temu candidate. I'm sorry, I don't like Vivek. I think that I can respect the fact that he's very sharp and he is, he's definitely at the top of his class from where he came from, but he has not done what you have done for the poorest among us, the community, the making sure that he just hasn't done anything. He's done nothing but enrich.
No, you're exactly right. Vivek's done nothing. He left Ohio after high school. He has no businesses in here. He's done no philanthropy. I've done many things for Ohio.
So, but it goes through and says that you're an automotive engineer who calls himself the car guy, made headlines during the campaign when he advertised an upcoming beer hall rally, which combined with his last name evokes the name of the beer hall Putsch, excuse me, a failed coup attempt led by Adolf Hitler. Okay, so then they go into that you asked Grok to name Hitler's good qualities. Anybody that watches the video knows that that's not, you were trying to point at, the video should speak for itself. But then goes in and says,
I'm just mad that, go ahead.
then goes out and says that a group, an anti-Zionist pack, or as a pack, a group founded last year with to aim at de-Zionize the American government, as if you were responsible for who actually endorses you, number one, and uses that as a way to basically call you an anti-Semite.
Yeah, I mean,
can't be white, can't be German, can't have Putsch as your last name, right? You can't actually help the community, can't help kids, can't do things to actually help out with engineering and create innovation. All of the things that you're doing, I need you to sideline it because you're not our guy, Casey.
Oh, I'm sorry. You still jealous because my DNA invented the automobile, the jet engine, got America to the moon and built a beautiful nation? I don't really care about this stuff anymore because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. You know?
My point is that this stupid destroys lives and takes away credibility from people who are credible and do things to actually promote and take care of the community. And there's no doubt that you would have stepped into that role very, very, very succinctly and honorably.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And forgive my casualness right now. Obviously, the race is over. I'm talking to you more like a car guy. And, seeing articles like this make me laugh. And, the truth of the matter is, if there's any dog whistle in there, the dog whistle is for the idiocy of all of the media, including the leftist media, the Zionist media, the right-wing media. They're all so pathetic and predictable. It's so easy. You can just be like, nanner, 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 and they'll write articles on you. I mean, if they really cared, they'd just shut up.
If they really cared. So let's talk about what's next, right? I got to talk about what's next because
I'm having fun here right now. I hope you don't mind.
No. I'm glad you have fun, bro. I think that you deserve it after going through and staying all the way to the end and getting 17. He's got to be pissed. 120 grand. You literally. I mean, it's almost.
Well, there's 150,000 people that don't want to vote for Vivek now. And I can tell you this, if you look at the fact that Amy Acton on the Democrat side got to go in unopposed and everybody voted for her, and all she has to do is walk around, smile, and make her hair look pretty and seem halfway nice, Vivek's in trouble. And they treated me like crap. They treat Ohioans like crap. They treat Republicans like we're idiots. They say that I'm a leftist plant. They try to say that I'm a Nazi and a bigot and everything else. Yet when the entirety of my life, I've done more for Ohioans, young people, teaching them business than Vivek's ever even considered doing. So the problem here is accountability. And I took flack for this early on a very staunchly right-wing little podcast. They were mad at me for hurting the vote or whatever. And I said, look, if Ohio turns blue, it's the GOP's fault for running the worst candidate ever and being completely out of touch with the reality and not caring about the people at all. And the only reason they hate me is because I'm shining a light on the shadows and all the people can see how many cockroaches are in the kitchen.
Very true. So what's next on politics? Because this can't be it.
Oh, Lord only knows. I'm going to tell you the reality of the matter is I'm a working class guy, and I've not been working for the last 6 months. I have a baby that will be coming in the next 7 days. She's going to be induced a week from tomorrow if she doesn't come. The little girl doesn't come sooner. So I've got a family I got to take care of. I got to try to take care of my own life. And, the reality of the matter is, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of people out there that care. There's a lot of people that really matter. But I did my fight, and it's time for me to go away for a while and, let things be what they are. if a time comes in the future that I'm the guy and there's the right thing to do and there's the right people and or resources behind whatever initiative politically to do something of value, I might consider it. But right now, I don't want to seem like I'm quitting, but I did my fight, and right now I got to go take care of my own life and family and kind of just go away for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, it really is understandable. But I do want to tell you that I don't think you won. I know you won. I know the statement that you made. Nearly 150,000 people did not vote for Vivek. Now, do I hope that it stays red? With Vivek in there versus somebody else, yes, I do. I hope it stays red for just the eyes that are on Ohio, that it stays red, just because, frankly, the alternative is just too gross, right?
It depends. Let me put it this way. I don't want Ohio to go blue because the Democrats are literally just obliterating the social fabric of America in every way, shape, and form. I think that's why that party exists, I'll say, in the last decade. But I think the things that Vivek is here to facilitate, if the entirety of the state is red, is diabolical and we won't come back from. But I don't want to see Vivek have that level of power here. I don't want to see it.
So I mean, and this will be the only advice I give you on this, okay? So it's super important, is that sometimes, and this is not to hold your nose and vote. It's not what I'm saying. But sometimes you live to see another day. What this showed you is that the common sense and your commitment to the people of Ohio was noticed, right? And if it took $25 million in order to overcome and to have them get 82% of the vote, then they know that a vast majority of those people only voted for him because President Trump endorsed him. Had President Trump endorsed you, right, and you had $120,000, you would have beat him. That's really
true
clear,
also.
Right?
That is true.
So the power of president, it's not that people had an appetite for Vivek. They had an appetite to stay closely related to the America First, even if it's a somewhat mirageous type of environment. They didn't want to stay close to what President Trump was trying to accomplish because, frankly, that is the mission that they bought into in November of 2024.
To be fair, though, that President Trump was MAGA, and they're not America First. Nothing about what they're doing is America First. And whenever I see anything in the White House try to use those two words together, I'm like, nope.
Well, keep in mind that the swamp is deep, right?
Oh,
and
I know.
You're talking about, and look, I am
America First to pillage.
I remember I got a phone call and they said, "Hey, Joe, would you have Vivek on your show?" And I said, "No, I wouldn't."
I would like to see you interview him, though.
And yeah, no, thanks. Now, I would do well with him, right? I mean, I would treat him casually. I would treat him respectfully. And I'm not sure that I would dislike him because he's like a Clinton charismatic person, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he has the same. He's Timu Obama. So yeah, in that sense, yeah.
Yeah. So you get what I'm saying, right? There's a certain number of people that you can. Wow. Look, Victor Marx is somewhat the same thing in Colorado, right? Victor Marx is tells stories, is a storyteller. And you scratch underneath the surface, you think you bought a Maserati and what you bought was a Yugo with 3 wheels and a kickstand, right? So, I mean, it's completely different. But I would caution you on creating some unity because there's leadership to come out of that, the other side. In other words, encouraging people to say we have to stay red while still recognizing that this is your state to win. And I don't think you're done. I just don't. I mean, you went to the highest office in the state of Colorado or state of Ohio, and you got 150,000 people to vote for you. Just so you know, you could win any campaign below governor you wanted anywhere in the state. Lead people to vote unselfishly for the Republican Party and see where it leads you in leading, if it's not the governor, some other position. And because the government needs to have strong people. They need to have Vikings. They need to have people that they can depend on that have that courage. That's and look, this is free advice, and I know that I'm doing this on the back of a defeat that frankly I don't think you got defeated. I personally know that people showed up at that.
But here's the thing.
You don't want to hear the truth from me, but that's okay. I always tell you the truth.
I understand what the truth is, but like I've done community theater. I don't feel like doing it for a lie for the nation to sell out Ohio. I think the GOP is completely sold out and gone from the White House down. I don't like what's going on. I don't like Vivek, and I didn't risk it all against him just so I could sell out for all these other coattail writing.
Time out. Casey, that's not what I'm telling you to do. That's not what I'm telling you to do.
Why? Like, we might as well just sell out if we do that. If we put Vivek in, just sell it all out. All data centers, destroy everybody's lives, give away everybody's farms.
Hold on a second.
Make us all broke.
Hold on a second.
Surveillance state.
Hold on. Let me hold on a second. You can fight against all of those things a whole lot more engaged in a better environment with an R in the seat than you can the D, right? The D destroys a lot of things, and look, I am not a proponent. I have to do it in my state too. This is me giving you advice. You don't have to take my advice, Casey, but I'm not telling you to ever sell out. I would never tell you to sell out. This is chess.
Look at I'm saying, like right now, the right wing is just buying everybody out, and you can see exactly how they're doing it.
I agree.
I'm sorry, but the Republican Party now does not uphold the values that it was founded upon. It doesn't reflect anything of the conservative values. It's insuited it.
And the Republican Party was always designed to be the people's party, and we have abandoned the people's party. And what I mean by that is the Republican Party is always meant to say, look, we're going to do what's best for the community. These are our values. That's why it's conservative values. And that's why conservative environments have always thrived, right? Now the Republicans aren't thriving because they don't get a seat at the table because they're too busy shooting at each other because it's self-interest that has overridden the interest of being unselfish and serving the community. Would you agree?
Not entirely, because there's something bigger at foot that's infiltrated the Republican Party that has to be fought against.
I agree. But you can only fight against that if you're actually in the middle of it and you can influence it. Right? If you don't have a seat at the table, you're on the outside just yelling.
Well, I know. I've thought about this too.
Look,
I don't think I can live a lie. I don't think I can live a lie.
I didn't say lie.
To play that game for them to.
Authenticity is the thing that has made you who you are, and in recognizing that, we still have to recognize that we can't ever put our foot in the enemy of the evil ever, not even for a minute. You can't play for Team Evil ever, and you can't root for Team Evil. And even if Team Evil is inside of the Republican Party, which it is, right? A vast majority of the people inside the Republican Party are starving for people to lead unselfishly from the front. And look, I'm just giving you advice. I mean, on air, right? And I
know what you're saying, but
yeah.
Like, look at Massey. This is all Israeli money and buy-in just to bump him out. It's because he went against Trump for the Epstein files. I loved him for doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, so let me be the arbiter of a little bit, and I do like Thomas Massey. Politics is dirty. I do love Thomas Massey. Came out and spoke at my in Colorado at one of my gun stores with Lauren Boebert, right in front of I had 500 people there, right? If you go back to 2012 when he was actually put into office, 2014, 2016, 2018. The Epstein files were released in public forum in 2017 to Congress. They had a whole hearing on it. Thomas Massey was in the middle of that. You know how many times it came up? 0. 2018. 2019, he was arrested. They were supposed to have another deal. Did anybody stand up and talk? No. 2020 happened. 2021 happened. You got Biden in the office. How often did we talk about Epstein in 2021?
We didn't.
2022? 2023? 2024. And let's not say that Thomas Massey doesn't have people that are billionaires that are Israeli either financing him, because they did. How about Jeffrey Lass? The guy's been a big supporter of his forever. So we just have to be, it's like we're playing chess against each other, and we're fighting on the outside thinking that, having a guy that needs oxygen replace Thomas Massey makes zero sense, right? The guy's like 20 years older than him.
All I know is I see nothing the Republican Party all the way up to the top has done to make any of our lives better. The Democrats have done everything worse. And I don't know where to go. I'll be honest, I don't know where to go.
But look at what you did. I mean, before you got on, I was telling everyone, I go, Casey's he's like my hero. He's the guy that I literally watch all your shows. I look at all your X. I don't usually say something because I want to be able to watch it. Like I
Sometimes
get something
I do fun
from
things.
You do. I mean, and I watch YouTube videos of you when I have time, and I go through all the things. And frankly, when all this happened, I wanted to have you on, but I wanted to be able to look at all the other stuff around you first. And I wanted you to be able to take a deep breath, right? And you're getting ready to have, you're having another baby, which is amazing. But I still want you to consider something. I want to consider you had 150,000 people almost that voted for you. And they voted for you because they see your leadership, they understand your commitment.
I absolutely will not tell them to vote for Vivek. Not with a gun to my head. I said that multiple times, and I will never do it. I flat out said I'm not endorsing either one, but I cannot support that at all. Ever.
Listen to me. I didn't say that you have someone vote for Vivek. It's not what I said. Because it wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't be you. It wouldn't. And I see you getting mad at me. Brother, I'm
not
on
mad at
your
you.
side.
I'm mad at the situation. We're completely screwed. We're completely screwed.
I know we are.
We're completely screwed.
I know we are. You know we are. But we're really not. We got God, man. But God. The two words, but God. But he put you in the fight. You got almost 150,000 people that voted for you. You did it with 120 grand. Almost impossible. Mathematically speaking, I bet you're the most successful candidate per vote that ever existed. Period. Right?
At a higher level, maybe.
Which means
I don't. Look, I understand what you're saying, but
if you want to wreck the party, you have to wreck it from the inside out, not the outside in. If you want to wreck it and make it the people's party and get it back to where it needs to be, you got to be a part of the mechanism and just never forget where you came from. And you fought honorably and you did amazing things, and people see it. So even if you decide to step out and take a deep breath, the party needs you, but the people need you more.
I don't know if I actually have the ability to lie, or at least lie by omission for people to get in with this sick fuckery to just eventually do something good. I don't know if I have that even ability.
Hold on a second. Let me just say this. The conversation we're having, people can hear. People in Ohio are going to watch this. I have a lot of people in Ohio listening to the podcast. Okay? So they're going to understand how you feel. I'm not asking you to have people vote for Vivek. I'm asking you to ask people to vote against what we see on the big D side and reform what we have on the R side. Because like it or not, we only have a two-party system. We only have 2 U-boats we can get on. Right?
Let me put it this way. They're both bad, but I think it's easier to dude.
I know that what's going through your brain. If Victor Marx becomes a governor candidate in Colorado, and I'm the state party chair.
The Republicans have done jack squat. The biggest thing they've done for me or anybody else I've ever, nothing. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans. Vivek is just here to facilitate more crap like data centers, completely take advantage of us or flood us with H-1Bs and screw us. Can normal people push back against that crap?
Yes.
Well, we can sure as hell push back against tranny hour in school and garbage like that the stupid Democrats pull. But I can't. I don't have it in my soul to not fight against the things to literally destroy us. I don't know what you're asking me. I didn't do this for fun. I didn't do this because I want to talk. I didn't do this because I'm just another dark triad personality trait, psychopath, closeted homosexual like all these other freaks in Washington in the state house. I did it because I want to save the damn state so we can all have a future. And Vivek isn't that. And if he doesn't become the governor, it's the GOP's damn fault. I don't know what to say. Anything else than that? I've already played nice. I can't lie.
I didn't say lie, but nobody's going to ever.
They don't want me. They don't want me. Do you understand? Politics does not want me. Lobbyists don't want me. Billionaires don't want me because I actually have some morality. I'm not their puppet. It doesn't work well. I should go do something else. That's why I told you I need to just go away for a while. I'm not a billionaire.
You know what?
There's no billionaires behind us.
I'm flying. Look, listen to me. Stop for a second. I'm flying to Ohio. You and I are going to sit down and talk. And if you want to punch me in the face, I'm going to let you punch me in the face.
No, I don't. I'm not mad at you in any way. I'm frustrated because I'm just getting this off. But here's the thing. I have to say this. The United States is at a point where basically we're at the part of history where like the private equity companies are just stripping us all of our resources and assets. That's all this is anymore. All the money going into politics is only to take advantage of the people and strip all the resources and defraud the state. That's it. Tell me where the money is for somebody to run to do something in the best interest of the people, because I haven't seen it. I don't think it exists because there's no money in it. There's no benevolent money in the world anymore. That's it. I can't go work for evil, dude.
I'm not asking you to work for evil. I'm asking you to fix evil.
Then it's time to do some other things that are probably not really legal about talking about right now.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Hey, listen, the one thing that I can tell you about you is you never lost your sense of humor. You never lost your humanity.
Yeah, you got to have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
At least I had some fun during this race when they wanted to try to wreck me.
Yeah. And you
but
handled it
away,
with poise. Man. Yeah. So this is, I said the same thing when they said that Tina Peters needs to step out of the limelight for a bit and just disconnect. And I would go, that's actually not what happens when you become battle tested, right? And you're battle tested. And God gave you this for a reason. I think the 150,000 people voting for you was a signal, a sign of a greater an ability for you to take over certain things. Yeah.
I'm going to preface what I'm saying with this is a big smile, and I'm joking.
Be careful. But, don't give like these news articles the ability to fire at you, please.
Yeah, damn it, I can't have any fun. I was like 150,000 people. What? See, now you've ruined it. I can't even make this without the news. But that is a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. It's a lot of people that you gave this thing that Shawshank Redemption. Okay, Shawshank Redemption. What's the greatest line in the movie Shawshank Redemption?
I don't know. I never saw it.
Hope is a dangerous thing. And hope is a dangerous thing. And you give 150 people hope. 150 people voted for you. And the vast majority of those people voted for Trump too. So you just keep in mind, you're closely aligned with the idea of what hope represents.
Well, along that line, the worst attacks I faced were not during the campaign from all the big influencers and stuff trying to get me in every way. The worst attacks I faced were after it was over, when they were trying to, through bot farms and attack and electronic terrorism, try to destroy me and my campaign because my existence and actually being a real thing makes other entities look bad. So they wanted to try to destroy me on the way out. That's why I'm telling you, I need to go away now.
I actually think I'm posing a question to someone as I'm looking at people, what they're saying online.
I mean, the fact of the matter is I can talk till I'm blue in the face. I've said everything that needs to be said. Everything that's said has needed to be said has already been said. I'm a working class guy. So there's, us working class people can be buried 11 ways to Sunday by anybody with money. I have to go away now because the only other thing left is fighting, and that's when we get into seditious talk, and that's not the thing. But
well, you know that I talk about fighting all the time, and they've said that I'm the guy that leads to violence, although I've never committed any violence, and I haven't
heard of any violence.
I've watched the election. I watch the elections get stolen. I watch as people tell us and gaslight us, tell us nothing to see here, treat the American people like stupid people. And then people like me get eviscerated, families attacked, sued. They steal from me millions of dollars and then tie both my hands and both my feet behind my back, hog tie me, and violate everything that is good about the what the judicial system should ever be. And yet I'm still standing thinking to myself, why am I even here? Like every day I wake up thinking the same thing you think. I've been in it 6 years. Like this is 6 years of hell. You want to talk about hell? It's been one of the most difficult periods of my life, and I've been through a lot.
Look, man, I appreciate it. We did a thing. Maybe some other day there will be a time to do a thing again, but I got to go away for a while.
Yeah. Well, I think
I don't.
Well, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do two
There's
things.
no win scenarios right now. I see zero winning scenarios if I stay in this right now.
Well, you know, I don't agree with you because I see what you're able to bring to the table, and 150,000 people need a leader.
That's nice. I have to make a living.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you have to. Two things can happen at the same time, right? You can still lead in this place where those 150,000 people can feel like they have a voice. And
here's the problem. I understand what you're saying, but like, I don't have the ability to just talk about things forever. There's a reason why the arc of me being on YouTube went to a point of trying to help a nonprofit to like so-called crashing out and talking about like that's it. We're running for governor. Yeah. The problem is everybody just talks about stuff. Honestly, I think we're all just perpetuating the problem of nobody doing anything because we're all online perpetually listening, hearing about the things that are wrong that nobody's doing anything about it, normalizing it.
They're not working.
Either we do something about it or we don't. Everybody needs to stand up and do something about it. If a law is unjust, then don't obey it. If somebody sucks, don't elect them. If somebody does, support them. I don't want to just be another like a talking head out there talking about things to keep people's attention and not do anything about it. It's probably better off I did nothing at all. I'm just looking at things differently. You know, in a sense, are we all the organic algorithm derived controlled up to relieve some of the pressure so the people don't freak out?
Yes.
I'm not controlled up. I'm op. And if I can't, in effect, or if it's a suicide mission, then I'm not going to engage. And right now, I think me doing anything is a suicide mission.
Okay. My advice to you is still my advice, and I literally will come out there and I'll go to that beer stein with you, and they can call me whatever they want, or get a beer stein with you at the beer hall.
Hold on.
There you go. And again, I'm glad we actually worked the problem here. The comments are. Everybody says the same thing. You have to stay in the fight. You have to stay.
I can't afford to. That's easy for you all to say. Who's going to fund me? Who's going to fund my team of attorneys? Who's going to do that?
Well,
who? I would rather people come to my house and start shooting because I can shoot back.
Okay,
there's nothing protecting me, people. Like I did my time. I negotiated in a metaphorical room of crowded people holding a hand grenade with the pin out. If you hit me, I drop this and we all go down. Right, now I'm standing out here by myself. Like
you got 150 people that voted for you, right?
Yeah.
So we need 150 people that literally decide to put $2 or $3 a month into an account. Now you're talking about, let's say it's $4 into an account. Now you're talking
would help.
$600,000 a month, $7.2 million per year. I mean, I can keep going down the line, right? And
yeah, if I had something like that, I would keep fighting. But I don't.
But we haven't built it yet either. We haven't asked for it, right? Yeah, we haven't asked.
That's true.
You see, I'm always the eternal optimist of we can do it. 150,000 people voted for you.
Oh, we can do it. And
Here's the comments, right, by the way, just so you know. These are people in Ohio. Stand up and do something, Ohio. I'm trying myself. We Ohioans need you, Casey. We desperately need you. I mean, that's from people that are in the comments that recognize that you lost this race and are saying, we need you. And I don't know of anybody that voted for you that wouldn't figure out a way to put $60 away for you every year to make it so that next year you have $15 million or you know what I mean? We just have to work the problem. You've been working the problem for so long for so many people, right? That
look, I know how to play this game, but there's no money for me. There's no money. So there either needs to be a lot of money, of real money, or everybody all over the world just needs to get their guns and like it's time. You know, so there needs to be a lot of money.
Which takes money. You got to get your guns. Bullets cost money. Right? It's cheaper to actually give Casey money.
Hold on. Do you remember that Jeff Foxworthy joke about I know how to catch Osama bin Laden? You just go on the news and do a press release and said he is responsible for Dale Earnhardt's death. And before you know it, there'd be thousands of bass boats with shotgun-toting rednecks going to the Middle East. We gonna do it for you, Dale Jr. I'm telling you. Yeah. And that's where I'm at right now. We just say, Jeffrey Epstein. Dale Earnhardt tried to take down that trafficking operation, and they got him.
This is my point. My point is that there's a lack of hope individually, but never collectively. And the spirit of America, the reason why we haven't fallen yet, is because there's still 150,000 people that would vote for you. And if you extrapolate, If you extrapolate that out, there's two things that I say you're really not that good at. You're not good at asking people to give you money. Right.
That's true. I'm not.
You weren't, and because you're
that's because I'm a self-sufficient, reliant, helpful, caring, decent guy.
Right. So here's I'm actually getting to that point with my audience now, where I'm like, listen, everybody's like, I don't have $5. I'm literally going to start the thing that,
baby, where's my money? You give me my money.
You gotta put $5. Everybody put $5, and if I get everybody to put $5, then we actually can we can do this thing, right? I will tell you this. I don't ask people to give me money, but I do put up the commercials. Did you see my new commercial, by the way?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you watch this commercial. I know you're busy. You somewhere to see I go.
It's all right, we're going. Okay.
And I took a lot of your time. I do need you to make me a watch. So I'm just telling you right now, I know you wear watches. I need you to make me a watch. And I wear a regular watch. I wear a regular watch.
You like diver style, titanium, stainless, chronograph, complications?
I'd do anything, but I've had this, my wife gave me this watch like 15 years ago. I still have it.
Cool.
I still wear it, right? So I don't wear, iWatches or any of that stuff. I want you to watch this commercial, tell you a little about it. I'm going to spend some time with you. We got to build a fraternity. You're a part of my fraternity. You're my brother. I am my brother's keeper. I think you believe the same way about me, and we're just going to figure it out. But we do have to work the problem. And you stepping out of the deal, sans going and celebrating the birth of your new baby, is just not an option. I'll be at your front door. If I have to, I'll just get an apartment down the street, walk up every day, be like, click, 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 click. Casey, let's go talk about politics.
Like, where's my money?
All right, watch this commercial real quick. Just the commercial for the DCF, please. Play it.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
All right, what do you think?
I like it. The dude that pulled the pin in the grenade roll looked like Mandami.
Yeah, don't say that. That's Matt. He'd get
Sorry.
really mad.
Is that Matt?
Matt be like, oh, I'm a dummy. We had a, just so you know, I got in big trouble because we included in it one of these clips. Do you have the clip from Friday that you can put up, guys? The clip about the cutting his throat with the bagel?
Oh. That'll happen with the bagel.
All right, so it was a blooper reel that we put up that we were doing, and so we were putting it into the deal, and we sent it out to get it checked so we could put the commercial out there. And they're like, "Oh, you killed him with a bagel or a baguette." Do you have it?
It sure was a baguette, not a bagel, because that could be considered anti-Semitic if it was a bagel.
What's really odd about this whole anti-Semitic stuff is that now that people have said these horrible things about me, I'm starting to figure out all the friends that I had that I didn't know were Jewish. Are like, "Yo, Joe, I'm Jewish too." And I'm like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah, you're not anti-Semitic." And I was like, "No shit. I didn't think." All right, check this out. Put it up.
Sorry, I need a minute.
And action.
Are we doing action 1, action 2? I'm sorry.
Yeah, action 1 is going, action 2.
Okay. Our expert bakers teach classes every week, so whether you're new to baking or looking to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered.
Oh, that's it. It's actually kind of funny. I thought it was funny. That would have been great.
They're like, "You can't put that up," and I was like, "What?" Like, no, you can't put it up. I was like, "You got to be kidding me! I thought it was funny." They're like, "No, you can't put it up. You got killed by a baguette."
If we're joking around, when you said that about you had friends coming up to you and going, "I'm Jewish," and you're like, "I didn't know." It's like, it's funny because I have friends come up to me and go, "Casey, I'm black," and I'm like, "I had no idea."
You look green. Stop it. Stop. All right.
Oh man.
Well, I'm glad you've kept your sense of humor. Right. I'm glad that I could have the highs and the lows. I can get you right back to it. Get you really pissed off, or you want to be like,
whether people like it or not, I always with you. I just give it real. And if somebody has a problem with it, I don't care.
There you go. You're welcome.
What you got there?
But see it?
This is sick.
Yeah. 365.
Nice. Yeah.
Extended mag.
Oh, that hold 13. Oh, you got it. What's that hold normally?
15.
15. Double stack.
Yeah. Absolutely. Kind of a cool gun. But I was going to give it to you so you can. Yeah.
Actually, I was thinking about upgrading my carry gun to that because that conceals nicely, but holds more rounds than other small things I have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't want to talk about your other small things. This is also a SAS.
Hey man, my small thing's unlimited ammo. What?
Yeah, that's a SAS. So it has the anti-snag. So let's see if I can get it in the right light.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool deal. I just flashed myself. That was good. Good job, Joe. All right, my brother.
Cool. No, I appreciate it. I genuinely appreciate everything you say. I think the points you're making with regard to Republicans is across the board. It's just Ohio got put in a really ugly position. That's why I stepped up to the game. And, I'm a working class guy. And I got working class problems.
You are your brother's keeper, and you are looking out for the people of Ohio, and you've always done that. So that consistency will pay off eventually. But you can't get out of the game. You can't let them force you out of the game either. You gotta play in it and be in it.
True. But if I get lit up in the first machine gun nest, I'm not gonna be around to fight any longer. So I need to come up with a plan for a second wave if there's going to be one.
Well, there are plans. I think there are plans. There are absolutely plans. I appreciate you, brother. How do people follow you?
Thanks for having me on.
Follow you. I know how to follow you, but how do people
follow me? Usually they just pop out of the bushes. I just search Casey Putsch, Casey the car guy on YouTube. I think I'm gonna be a little chill on there. What I'm kind of thinking of doing is doing some some fun projects that are relatable for everybody, and along the way telling some stories that I think will be good lessons learned that relate, especially to young men. Just being a mentor in that regard, and while I figure out what the heck I'm doing in the future.
Well, I think that, like I said, take a deep breath, but that's all you get is a breath.
Yeah. Well, I better get the heck out of here right now. My wife's going to be ticked.
All right. Well, I can't. I look forward to seeing your wife, meeting your wife, and maybe
She's fantastic.
maybe they get to the Stanley Cup Finals and fly you guys out here. And well, actually, that's in like 3 weeks. I don't know if your
We'll see.
wife
It'll
would
be
be
fun.
wanted. Well, you're having a
Probably
baby.
not then. Probably not then. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's gonna be a little waddly for a while, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out though. Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Joe.
All right,
See you
God
later.
bless you. Yeah. It got a little intense. And I think if you go back and watch it, for those of you that are like telling me that I just now am seeing this, go back and watch the whole thing. It was a great conversation with Casey, just about where we are, right, what we're actually going through right now. So yeah, let's talk about some other stuff. Let's go. Can we go back to what we were talking about before? And by the way, the Avs lost last night. It's terrible. But let's walk through kind of what is happening. And there was a culture day because the theme of this is, are we turning into England? Are we turning into the Europe? Are we turning into this bastion of forgetting your own culture and your own ethos while adopting the culture and ethos of third world environments that frankly have run their country still into the ground, state of absolute disrepair. And then they brought it to our country and said, hey, be tolerant, while they do the same thing to us and make us institutionally their slaves. Think about that for a minute. Go ahead and play it. So that's Bolton College in modern England. I have talked to more people who are English that are white Englanders, been around for hundreds of years, thousands of years. The original home of the Magna Carta that had Vikings that came over, that culturally fought to make sure they could protect their land. They stripped them of their ability to have guns, have weapons, to be able to protect themselves, while letting foreigners come in and rape and murder their environments, while relegating them to second-class citizens, taking their flats away from them and handing it over to an immigrant, and doing it all on the guise of social equality. Then they made the police come in and say you're not allowed to say anything, and you see it happening in the United States now. The same slow boil to, hey, the First Amendment is not absolute, even though it's been deemed as being nearly absolute. You should be able to speak truth, but they took that away from us as well with creating this censorship and using social media and different platforms in order to deplatform people, take things away and say you violated our rules. Here's a clip from the Birmingham City Council in the UK. And this was a Christian nation. This was a Catholic nation. This was a Protestant nation. This is a nation that was designed, the UK was under God. You can go back to the King James Version of the Bible. You can go back to the Catholic Bible. It all culminates from the same place. Go ahead and play this.
الله الرحمن الرحيم وتعاونوا على البر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان صدق الله العظيم. Begin in the name of Allah, the Most Kind, the Most.
That's the UK. It doesn't mean you can't have a mosque in your country. No, it doesn't. You should be able to have mosques and synagogues and churches. And keep in mind they convinced all of us that based on you're not allowed to talk about politics at the pulpit. And they said we can strip you away of your nonprofit status. It's not true. It's not written anywhere at all. They said, well, the separation of church and state. The state has no authority to step into the private operations of a church. The church can go out and do it and say whatever they want. But it was an excuse for weak pastors and pathetic people that basically took that line. Remember, we talked about it before, the line of law, and that removed it below, not just the crown, removed it below and put the people below it. So the law, if you had to look at a diagram, the law would be here, the people would be here. The judiciary is above the law. Elitists are above the law. Tiktocracies are above the law. Large corporations are above the law. They're all above the law. The only thing that is below the law line right now is you. You are the only thing below that line. So they can prosecute you and persecute you with impunity. That's what January 6th taught us. January 6th taught us that it's all about the powerful and it has nothing to do with the people. But let's go back in history. Kings, long before the Magna Carta, would talk about prosperity among the people as they sent tax bibs out there and hung people from trees, executed people on the spot. What's changed? What's changed? See, the Magna Carta reset it, and over time, it's brought us to a place where there's supposed to be some equilibrium with a system of justice. In the United States, it's the three equal powers of government that have the checks and balance. Show me now where the checks and balance system is on the judiciary. The judiciary is now being told that the feds are not allowed to operate with the supremacy clause. They can't walk in and take Tina Peters out of jail when the state has become so systemically corrupt that it's easy to see. When the judiciary is so rotted that the Supreme Court tells President Trump, we're going to take you completely off the ballot. Only to take it to a sensible Supreme Court and they say 9-0, you guys are out of your mind. Where the Supreme Court can rule in favor of the Second Amendment and tell all these states, you cannot take away someone's ability to have an AR. And by the way, it's not a assault rifle, it's Armalite. That's what AR stands for. But they were able to rewrite history and they convinced the public that one gun is more dangerous than another and that you as a law-abiding citizen should have your rights stripped from you while making sure, by the way, that cartels and other people in the government have access to guns and to protect themselves while making you a lame duck. All in the idea of safety. Are we becoming Europe? If you want to buy a knife in Europe, if you want to buy a knife in the UK, you have to be over the age of 18. Why? Because when they got rid of everyone's ability to have a gun, they then took away their ability to buy a knife. Now they're regulating bats and billy clubs and pretty much everything because evil cannot be regulated. It can only be destroyed. Well, what happens when your entire government structure is the evil that then uses good people inside the apparatus to be the slave masters to push down on the people? Now you know why they've actually done everything they can to prevent me from speaking. Tell me what part of what I just said is not true. Let's talk about the judiciary in Colorado, where Judges can act with impunity, do things that are normally against the law, and then you have to basically appeal it to a higher power within the same structure, which is equally rotted, only to say, no, we will deny cert, and then go up even higher and says, no, we will deny cert. And then you have to go to the Supreme Court. They know that the system is so filled with cases of injustice that it becomes easy to figure out that those same judges are nothing but henchmen for the cartel government that's become of certain states. And if we go back to 2004 and we look at Clinton Curtis, when he was in front of Congress, he warned them, he says, I built a system that literally could change votes. And we've seen that happen over the last 22 years. And yet we know it, but we have people in Congress now that say, I can't do anything about it. You see people visibly being bought out by AIPAC. You see lawyers that are visibly lowing. You have people like Eric Coomer that are literally sitting and lying while calling everyone else a liar, gaslighting everything that they had done and everything that they were a part of going back 20 years. And then their attorney will sit there and say, which by the way, I'll go through this on Monday, or Tuesday, excuse me, I'll go through this on Tuesday, and sit there and say, I'm the victim, and oh, by the way, you can't have access to this, can't have access to that. Perpetuating the very system that is designed to destroy, not to seek justice. They just put their finger on it lightly, and they change the outcome of history. We've been consumed by radicals. We've been consumed by this infiltration into our country, the violation and the abuse of the H-1B process. Well, they say that white people are not smart enough to do anything, but the white people are the ones that are having everything stripped from them. And it's not like they didn't start with black people first. They wanted to make them unable to fight back, reliant on them. So they destroyed education, took away their basic rights, sold them on the idea that abortion or genociding an entire generation is the only way you can get ahead. I've said this over and over again. And everything we saw happening in the UK and in France, and I mean, go to France, it's a shell of its former self. And everyone's like, Joey, there's just a sign of the times. No, it's not. It's a sign of the apathy that we've created because we're too fearful to stand up and do the right thing. And it has a lot more to do with the fact that you only have 44 cents on every dollar and you're just struggling to make things work while they can basically enact laws and do things and act with impunity, and you have no control because we haven't decided that standing together is something we should do. And if what I'm saying is right, you plan for $5,000 in property, $6,000 in property taxes a year, and the next year it doubles. Now it's $12,000. Then by the end of a 10-year period, it's $18,000, $25,000. Your property tax goes up. Every road is a tollway. It's too expensive to put gas in your car because the gas tax on that is 40%. You have personal property tax. You have your property tax on your home, and that, by the way, if you don't pay it, they just take your home from you. A system is designed to completely enslave you, and you're so fatigued by just being able to figure out how you can work 8 or 9 hours and come home and have some peace, but you can't have peace there either, because every time you turn around, there's another letter that shows up in the mail that says, here's a fine, or hey, this speed camera caught you going 45 and a 35, and I know you were trying to get to your daughter's recital, but that'll be $300. That's where we are right now. And we're so far ahead of where we are that banks, by the way, in the city of New York are leaving New York in droves. Mondami was just on TV begging businesses to stay in New York City. Notice of leaving, I think, notice of, they call it something, of companies moving out of New York has now approached almost 9% of businesses in New York will leave before the end of the year. 9%. Companies that have headquarters in New York have emptied out their offices and are moving their operations to Texas, to Florida, North Carolina. Guess where they're not going? They're not going to Colorado, New York, Virginia, Maryland, California, Washington, Oregon. Those states are becoming ghost towns with people that are overrun by third world environments, people that frankly will then lean in and try to take more from those people who are just too poor and or don't have the ability to leave the state. They will become, in large part, count on it, welfare states. And at the end of it, they'll say, you're not giving us enough money. We need to raise taxes. Businesses in New York are closing at an all-time high. 1.5% of businesses since Mandami took office are gone. Another 6 to 7% leaving and or are just trying to run out their leases because they have corporate environments. So they're just sticking around just long enough to be able to get the hell out. Over the next 3 to 5 years, over 50% of the businesses that are in New York City will have vanished. 50%. And that's not my prediction. That's predictions of guys that are out there in the world that are looking at what is happening in New York, what's happening in Washington, what's happening in Oregon, where you can rape and murder someone and just get probation. True. But if you're a good person, they'll throw the book at you and give you 20 years for the equivalent of a speeding ticket. Here's what the mainstream media, immigrants, and liberals have to say about white people in America. Play it.
And white Americans will soon be a minority, and that's great.
You know, whites will not be the majority. I mean, it's an exciting transformation of the country.
For the first time in American history, the number of white people went down.
We gotta take these motherfuckers out.
We have to kill white people.
When do we start killing white people?
We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem.
You tell me. They're allowed to stay up. These videos are allowed to be everywhere. They're allowed to take from us what was never theirs to take and then tell us, by the way, you're relegated to the sideline. We are allowing the weak to control the strong. All because we're good people. Am I saying that all white people are good people? No. No, look at Jeffrey Epstein. He's white. Oh, that's right. He doesn't call himself white. Forgot. They're separating themselves. See, there's black people, there's brown people, there's white people, there's another class of people in a small country over in the Middle East. But we don't, it's a weird thing, weird dynamic. This is the reality. There was a conquest to have happened. People that want to take over other people, but they're not smart enough to create a society that people want to live in. You think I'm kidding? Go to Somalia. Do you know why Somalia has any sort of innovation at all? Asian people and white people. Go to many part of Africa. Look what happened in South Africa. And look, this isn't a call of white people are the supreme race. This is a call of if we set aside race altogether and we look at statistics, white people have done some great things. The flip side of that is black people have done some great things. They have. Look at Ben Carson. Look at Byron Donalds. I mean, I got a thing from Leon Benjamin. He's a pastor out of Virginia. I have thousands, tens of thousands, millions of men that I could point to and say, those are my brothers. Asians. You'd be hard pressed to get a better score in an SAT or an ACT than an Asian. They're super smart. And nobody's talking about getting rid of Asians because why would you? I don't think there's a billion of them in China. I don't have any issue with Asians. I don't have any issues with black people. I don't have any issues with brown people. Now, the people that were on there and said we need to exterminate white people, you became my enemy overnight. You want to kill me? Okay. Bet. But there's not enough people that can stand together because they've said that if white people stand together, you're all a bunch of racists. We'll just put hoods on you and call you the KKK. Black people that come together and is like, hey, we're going to come together. Nope, you're Uncle Tom's. Asian people that come together and they're like, oh, we're going to all come together as Asians. They call that anime. Sorry, it's being funny. Huh? It's not white people. White people are not the problem. It's devils. Devils are the problem. I want you to listen to this. This is from, this is an endemic problem across the globe of radicals that have moved the line of law down here, and now you have a bunch of people that basically get to dictate us that boys can be girls and they can pander to and groom your children, and they can put sexual books in there and legalize porn, and it's all by the same people doing it. And we can see it, we're just not allowed to talk about it. Play this next deal. This is calling out anti-white rhetoric in the union. Play it.
We are constantly hearing from you in this room how on Black Lives Matter, how Jewish lives matter, how Palestinian lives matter, and I completely agree with you. I don't have any problem when you are saying that. But I will say something what many of you will have a problem with. And I will say it loudly and openly. White lives matter. Because right now, white people are just a tiny minority in this world, and white people are the most hated group in the whole world. Everything is allowed against white people. You can openly spread hatred and racism against white people. You can openly call for a violence against white people, and nobody will ban you from social networks. Nobody will prosecute you or put you in jail for that. Nobody will prosecute you and trying to destroy your life because doing something like that. And that's why I consider it very important to repeat that for you as a white man, as a Christian father of the family. White lives matter.
You know, I come from an interracial family. I'm a mutt. I don't have any problem with anybody that I deal with. Jewish, black, green, yellow, purple, gay, straight, don't care. I had a conversation the other day with a tranny that was down at the coffee shop. It was a funny conversation. Because I had to ask the question, are you a cross-dresser or are you truly confused? And he looked at me and he goes, I'm a woman. And I was like, not on any planet I know of. Maybe they, you know, they did take Pluto out and make it not a planet. This is the conversation I had. So maybe you're from Pluto. I said, with all due respect, I'm going to call you a man because you're a man. I said, but can I pray over you? He goes, nope. I was like, I'm going to pray over you anyway. I said, Lord Jesus. He like ran away. Whew! He was gone. Created some great rules for us, right? The good get eaten up by the bad, and we don't do anything collectively together because we're supposed to be strong so we can stand by ourselves. It's time to basically not stand by ourselves. And I want to bring something up because Elon Musk, this is super important to understand about Elon. Everyone says Elon is so smart. He's done all these great things. He's got trillion-dollar businesses. Elon Musk is haunted. He's haunted by his childhood. I've been doing research on Elon because I wanted to understand what makes him tick for a lot of different reasons. One, he stood up with Doge, did some things to support President Trump. He stepped out and created a free thought platform, stepped away from it to deal with SpaceX. He'll have to come back. He'll get rid of some of the things they put in place, or just before he walks back in, the people that are out there will kind of move some of the roadblocks that are created on the platform to censor certain people, including myself. And so I wanted to know how he thought. And his brother Kimball has restaurants, and several of them in Denver, and he's also a shareholder in Tesla. And I'm a frequenter of his restaurants because I love his restaurants. He's a good guy. I've met him a few times, in passing, and but I wanted to know him. So I started doing all this research. And Elon Musk had a terrible childhood. I was sitting in the car with a couple buddies of mine, and one of them, yesterday I was listening to this, and he had, one of my partners, he was in the car, and he had a terrible childhood. And I'm playing this video for him, and I was looking, look at this guy. And I had a terrible childhood. It's awful. But was it? Or was it just a defining moment that made me who I am today? And that flight is not an option. I will never back down. I'd rather die. I'm going to always fight for what's right because I'm never going to let somebody do that to me. But I was watching these videos of Elon Musk, and Elon talks about how he almost died. And then he went home, and his father basically finished the beating that the child had on him. And he said it was all Elon's fault because he wasn't strong enough. Elon learned to play the game early. He was super smart. He knew that he had to find a way to win. But I think that he was tortured and haunted by what happened to him as a child. And the idea of that was going to happen to all of humanity. That was going to happen to everyone in the United States. That if this evil's allowed to win, this evil gets to do the same thing they did to him. Throw him down the stairs, put him in the hospital, and beat him and torture him and bully him with impunity. So when you see some of the things that have happened in Europe or in the United States, it's not hard to look at it and go, this is not right. This is terrible. It's not hard to understand what Casey was saying specifically about, I need to step away for a bit. Because the people that fight are not typically, they're the strong ones, but it takes other strong ones to realize that they've already started dancing so that they could dance too. I want to play this. This is talking about illegal immigrant crisis in Europe. Normally I go to a commercial break, but I'm not going to. Go ahead and play it.
Totally. It's all over Europe, I can tell you. A friend of mine is a federal judge in Italy, and he just retired because he told me, Fabio, I cannot believe where our country is today. And I said, why? What's happening? He goes like, number one, Italian citizen, they are fifth-class citizens, not even second class. They're fifth-class citizen.
Meaning?
Meaning, then everything, the government supply everything to the immigrant. Everything's for free for the immigrant. The pension plan is pretty much gone. You know, you have old people, 80, 90 years old, they go and collect their pension plan. The government says, go home because we have no money. But in the meantime, they give free phone, free everything, free home.
This is a similar complaint we hear in America.
But but this has been going for many, many, many years in Europe. I mean, our police don't want anything to do. In the middle of major city, you will have 40, 50 people from Arab country, from Africa. This is a major, during the day, major square. They get around 40, 50 guys, they get 5 or 6 women, and they rape them right there on the street. The police can be 10, 15 feet away, and the police don't want anything to do, because if they get into confrontation, then, if they beat up these people, they're gonna be racist, and so on. And my friend told me, it got to a point where law, do not apply to these people. All the immigrant, they don't. They can do whatever they want. Their jail system is full, so these people, even if they commit crime, they get arrested, they get released the next day, so they commit more crime, they get arrested, they get released the next day. I mean, it's like that constantly every day. You turn the TV on, it's constantly, they get away with murder every day.
I think sometimes people...
How different is that than the United States? And if we don't start doing something about this, that will be the reality of the entire world. And this is how you destroy white people. This is how you destroy Uncle Toms. Sorry, my black brothers and sisters. This is how you destroy, what would be a majority of the Hispanic population that are Americans, because they're amazing. And it's not just happening here, it's happening down in other countries as well. And you have some that are fighting back. In Nicaragua, Argentina. It's the same playbook. Here's the long line of the law. And do you know what happened over the last 2,000 years to the people that stepped above that line? We knew their name. They lied, they cheated, they created stories like Eric Coomer does that I'm afraid for my life. They watched as the judiciary did what it was going to do to punish those people that told the truth. Whistleblowers like myself and the FBI whistleblowers and whistleblowers all over the country. They took away people's law licenses like they did John Eastman. They punished people like President Trump. They acted with impunity and did terrible things to people all over the world. And then they had other lawyers that walked in and they lied on behalf of the really bad people in order to cover up their crimes. Change the narrative. We are in the same playbook that they had over in Europe. They tried it there first and then they brought it here. And they've destroyed our country state by state with stolen elections, fraudulent elections that have made you all enemies. And you're sitting here watching it happen and you're doing nothing about it. And the strong men, they don't do anything about it because why would they? And then the social media enables it, thinking, oh, they'll save me. They're only going to save about 5% of the population. The rest are irrelevant. They need to all go away. So a vast majority of even the people that are doing all of this harm will end up actually self-sacrificing themselves. And they don't even know it. I want to play this out. Free speech under attack in America. Go ahead and play this next one.
Hi, my name's Mike. I worked for the Chemung County Sheriff's Office, and they had me placed in an elementary school in the Elmira City School District.
Mike Collins, a resource officer at Parley Coburn Elementary School in New York, was fired from his job after he posted a video online joking about people who abused SNAP benefits just before the government shutdown last year that temporarily halted SNAP payments.
All you freeloaders and parasites, you better go out trick-or-treating tonight and get all the free candy you can, because tomorrow you're not getting any free food.
Mike was reportedly given express permission by the sheriff's department to post his social commentary online prior to his hiring.
The real problem was how the sheriffs handled the situation. I mean, they hired me knowing that I made videos. I even asked if I was going to get in trouble, and they told me no, so I had permission to make the video.
He was beloved by the children at the school, with students even making posters saying, "We love our school resource officer."
It was the best job I ever had. I absolutely loved it. I woke up every day excited to go to work. I mean, my days were full of high fives and hugs, and very sad I lost that.
While he was initially only forced to take sensitivity training as punishment, his punishments continued to mysteriously evolve until he was fired.
It didn't end there. They just kept punishing me over and over. Then they wrote me up and made me take sensitivity training. Then I got suspended. And then they tried to pass it off on the school district and say that it was an administrative leave.
It was then made clear that Mike was targeted by the school for his politics, which ran counter to the left-wing agenda.
If you share any opinions that aren't leftist within the school district, you're in trouble.
We reached out to the sheriff's department for comment on Mike's termination as a school resource officer, but they declined to respond.
Same thing could be said for the whistleblower, Rich Guggenheim, fired for uncovering the fact that they were using DEI and implementing DEI with federal dollars. What happened? He was fired. They just made something up and it got swept under the rug. Was there any consequence for it? No. It happens over and over and over again. I've been sanctioned. Other people have been sanctioned. President Trump had massive sanctions. I've lost so much. America's under attack, and I keep speaking about it. I sat in a deposition, by the way, for the last 2 days while listening to Eric Coomer. A day yesterday and part of it today. And I listened as the lawyers let them just violate all sorts of stuff. So I said something. I was like, I said, Charlie King, this is not your deposition. Because he wanted to go on and do this long diatribe of a objection, which is not allowed in a deposition. So I unmuted and I was like, you're not allowed to do this. Like there's no standing standing verbal objection. It's either objection, form, you get to say what it is. And then your client has to still answer the question. But then they dog and pony show this entire thing and violate every bit of the standards associated with it, and there's never any consequences. Never. We'll go into that on Tuesday as far as all the things that they did inside these depositions. I had to write it all down. It's unbelievable. Now I'm going to transition really quick to what's happening in Colorado just to show you how bad Colorado is. It's terrible. There was a man that in 2008, a couple of them went on a shooting spree, ended up shooting a police officer. He was sentenced to 50 years in prison, but he was young. And on law enforcement, I forget what the day was. Do you guys remember what the day was? It was a special day for law enforcement. It's like basically a police appreciation day. On that day, they gave clemency. And let me just tell you about this police shooter. May 27th, so between May 27th and June 28th, this kid was 19 years old. His name's Brandon Kluser. He had a month-long crime spree, not a day, not 2 days, a month-long crime spree. Armed robbery, kidnapping, orchestrated felony offenses alongside his accomplice, Taylor Moody. Targeted community areas such as Castle Pines, Silver Heights, Perry Pines, and Christie Ridge, the wealthier areas. Multiple burglaries at residences. He broke into homes. He was wearing tactical gear and headlamps. He operated under the criminal code name. He had a criminal code name called Pyro or Spike. He committed grand theft, stole luxury vehicles, cash, high-end electronics, firearms from the properties that he broke into. He amassed an illegal cache of weapons, tactical vests, armor-piercing ammunition, assault rifles, and he hid them all on his family's property. Now, keep in mind, this is a kid that came from means, so it's not a secret that he actually got out because of that. Attempted murder on law enforcement, first-degree assault, leaned out a stolen vehicle during a high-speed police pursuit on Highway 105, fired multiple rounds at law enforcement with a stolen rifle and a handgun. Todd Tucker was struck in the arm with a high-powered rifle. He had critical injuries and permanent nerve damage. He shot at Mike Adams, fired a round that struck Adams' vehicle dead center in the windshield, which narrowly stopped the bullet from hitting the officer in the face, like literally right here. He was convicted of first-degree assault, aggravated robbery, kidnapping, multiple counts of burglary, and vehicle theft. He had a 50-year prison sentence. You ready for this? His dad is Kevin Cruiser. And his dad was a member of the Denver Police Department at the time of his son's arrest. Remember what I said about that line, law? You find your way to get above that, then you get clemency after doing harm to those that serve. I know Darren Weekly. He's the sheriff of Douglas County, and he had this to say. This is a video on the clemency that was given to Brendan. This is the rules are for thee and not for me, and that we could change the rules anytime we want. Go ahead and play it.
For the governor to grant clemency on National Peace Officer Memorial Day is a slap into our face. It's a slap in the face of every law enforcement officer that puts on this uniform every day, and for those that have made the ultimate sacrifice. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about this incident. If it wasn't for that windshield stopping that bullet, that first round that they shot at me hit dead center of that windshield and almost would have hit me and struck me in the face. If that windshield would not have stopped that bullet, I would not be standing here today speaking to you, and my boys would have grown up without a father. It's just appalling that the governor would grant clemency to someone that tried to kill 2 police officers. Deputy Todd Tucker still has to live with these injuries today.
Deputy Todd Tucker could not be with us today. He's in Maryland, where he's still serving as a law enforcement officer. But Deputy Tucker did send a statement that I would like to read all of you. On Friday, Law Enforcement Memorial Day, I was informed that Governor Jared Polis granted clemency to Brandon Kreitzer, the man who shot me in the line of duty in Douglas County in 2008. Mr. Kreitzer was sentenced to 50 years in prison for attempting to murder a law enforcement officer. I cannot adequately express the anger, disgust, and profound disappointment I feel over Governor Polis's decision to release a violent convicted felon who has not even served half his sentence. This decision is an insult to me, my family, and every law enforcement officer who risks their life every single day to protect their communities. What makes this even more outrageous is the timing. On a day meant to honor fallen officers and recognize the sacrifices made by law enforcement, Governor Polis chose to announce clemency for a man convicted of shooting a deputy in the line of duty. That is beyond disrespectful. It is a complete betrayal of the men and women who wear the badge and the families who live with the consequences of violent crime against law enforcement. This was not a minor offense. This was an intentional act of violence that nearly cost me my life. The physical and emotional effects of that day never disappear. Victims carry those scars forever, while politicians who make these decisions never have to live with the trauma, pain, or lifelong consequences. Governor Polis's decision sends a dangerous and demoralizing message that attempting to murder a police officer no longer carries the weight or accountability it once did. It tells violent offenders that even the most serious crime can eventually be excused or minimized through politics. I strongly believe this decision reflects a disturbing lack of judgment, accountability, and respect for victims of violent crime and for the law enforcement community as a whole. Officers across the country are already facing unprecedented challenges, and decisions like this only further erode morale and the confidence in the justice system. Despite my anger and frustration, I remain thankful for the overwhelming support from my fellow officers, friends, community members, and everyone who continues to stand behind law enforcement and the sacrifices officers and their families make every day.
I believe in second chances. I do. But I don't believe in second chances where you can walk past many people that deserve those second chances long before someone that goes on a month-long evil crime spree. Does it mean he's not rehabilitatable? No, it doesn't. It just means that because people have the ability to have means, those are the ones that actually get clemency. But to do it on the day of, memorial to peace officers means that it's just a special type of evil. You knew what day it was. Even if you wanted to do it, you should have reached out to them, and then you should have made sure it wasn't on the day that basically was like spitting in the face of people. But that's what we've been doing in our country. We've been spitting in the face of people in our country for a long time. I believe that the bow is about to break. It's about to break in ways that it hasn't broke before. And it's not just talking about the fact that we have a rotted judiciary and that the haves and the have-nots are being separated by a line that has become oppressive for people, and that we're becoming slaves in an environment where people could just have their way with us. It's that they've taken away so much from us that it's hard to reconcile what the sacrifice would look like if we did stand up and do something. And standing together, they've told us that we're all evil and bad, while they're the ones doing evil things, not just in the United States, but around the world. And if you don't believe it, you're like, well, it's something wrong. There must be something wrong with you. And the people that go along to get along, or that are caught up in this social contagion, they become the ones that people consider intelligent. This is why they killed Charlie Kirk. Last thing I want to talk to you guys about before I go away is something that's not going to be popular amongst people in Colorado specifically. How long is that video, Cut 6? I haven't seen this video. On Monday, though, you're going to see a video of me sitting down with someone. His name is Adam Dorito. Unpopular to some people that associate with me or say that they support me. Unpopular with people that want to create a narrative that somewhere along the line, Adam Dorito is a bad guy, that he made bad decisions when he was 18, 19, 20 years old. Adam Dorito ran for Congress. Congress people and others pulled up as much mud on Adam Dorito as they possibly could. So now I'm going to walk through some things that I'll explain in that video on Monday, but I want you guys to stew on this. The Republican Party, as you heard from Casey, has become nothing but a punching bag ground for bullies and mean girls. They can make up whatever they want. They can say that they have receipts. They can say that they can, tell people to go kill themselves. They could drive people to a place where they have no hope. How do I know that? Because I've been driven to a place where I have no hope many times. And I keep coming back to the fact that truth will prevail, truth will prevail, truth will prevail. Well, it hasn't. We still have stolen elections. We know they're stolen. The president talks about it. The ODNI report and other reports come out, confirm it. People that were involved in that process get to sweep it under the rug and sue people for defamation while the court system rains down on them. They get to move out of the country and act with impunity. And the judiciary that is supposed to serve the people can literally let it slide while those people slide just above the line so that they're untouchable. Well, in this case, a couple days ago, someone came to me, a lawyer, and said, "Hey, Joe, I need to know if you're a part of this." And there's been things that people have said about Adam Dorito related to whether or not he was, he sexually abused women. That's a big allegation, big. Now, there's been people that have said that there are 10 victims, 12 victims. So I set out about when he was on my show to figure out what's true and not true. I read reports, I met with people. I went all the way back to 2004. Now, he attended the Air Force Academy in 2006 to 2010. Was 3 hours away from walking across the stage, and they took away his diploma. Now, I'll let the rest of the story speak. That has not much to do with what I did over the last couple of days. See, over the last 45 days that I've been involved in this state chair race, I've personally had hundreds of people call me saying, "Do not talk to this person, do not talk to this person's bad, that person's bad." And it's been this, shooting at each other. I've heard all about it. I've gone out to say I need to meet with Phil Anschutz, who at this time has just declined to have a meeting with me. Figures. I said, look, I'm going to have a conversation with everybody. Sit down at the table, figure out who the players are, kiss the rings as necessary, do the things that are necessary to make sure that we can actually face forward and have a Republican Party that actually operates. Give it an enema. Change it. Make it the People's Party. Give people that are ethical and viable the ability to connect with a party that will go in the community and do what is necessary to help the people. Easy task. You think everybody wants to do that, and if we go that way, then everything should be fine. Stop shooting each other. Start winning. Well, over the last couple of days, before this person came into my office, they had people that were on live streams who were making accusations that Adam Dorito was a pedophile. There was an article written in the Gazette that made accusations against Dorito and saying that he was unfit to be an officer. If you know anything about me, you know that I fight for people, period. I don't like bullies, and frankly, I'm going to dig till I get to the very bottom of the barrel, and if I see evidence of something, I typically remain silent. I still don't berate or beat them up in the media. I just say, okay, I'm going to separate myself from that person. But in this case, I couldn't see where there was smoke, there was fire. And I went back far enough and got enough information that there was enough bad people involved in the time that he was at the Air Force Academy and Operation Gridiron, which happened right afterwards, that addressed some of the improprieties that dated all the way back to 2004 at the Air Force Academy. Now, I've already done this interview with Adam. That'll come out on Monday. You guys will have a chance to see that on Monday, Memorial Day. I recommend that you tell everyone to watch it. But I told Adam, I go, Adam, make me a video. I haven't even seen it. I haven't listened to it at all. I have no idea what he's going to say. But I can tell you what happened 2 days ago when a lawyer came in and said, I have all the information in order to sue these 15 people. I think it was 15. 14, 13, 12, 17, I don't know. A lot of people who have called him a pedophile, told him to kill himself, told him to, things that you should be held responsible for saying when you try to ruin someone's life. You should never be able to do the things that we have done in this party to each other. You shouldn't be able to do it. And yet, it keeps happening. I'm running for state chair to stop that from happening. But when a lawyer walks into your office and accosts you and says, are you responsible for the things that are being done against this man? I draw the line. So I watch videos. And I had people that I called and said, you're about to get sued. And instead of actually, however it went out to other people and they said, I heard that you were pro bonoing getting an attorney for Adam Dorito, which is not the truth. The truth is somebody came to me and said, we're going to support this man. And so I had to sit for 7 hours and review videos and screenshots and documents related to some people that, frankly, I can't stand. I can't stand them. One of which is the guy that was placed 22nd in the Olympics. He might have just stayed home. Who also went to the Air Force Academy that decided that somewhere along the line he was going to participate in trying to ruin a man's life. This is what our country's become. This is what our state has become. This is what our party has become. It's become something that's so incessantly just ground into hurting people, that we would destroy a man. So they wrote this article at the Gazette. I sent it to Adam and I said, I need to know if there's any truth to this. He said, no. I said, okay. I took him at his word. And then I started digging in because I had to do that in order to stop a lawsuit from happening that would have further fractured the Republican Party. And the people that are in here have no idea what I did actually protects them from a process that frankly has been difficult and draconian that I've had to live through over the next 4 years. And frankly, I believe the attorney when he said every one of them will be found guilty. This is an ironclad case. Now, all those people say they have receipts. I got to see real receipts. People calling him names that weren't true. And you can have innuendos. But let me tell you what it brings me down to. I went to Adam Dorito and I was like, listen, write me a deal and I want to meet with you. I want you in my office tomorrow. I called him last night. I want you in my office tomorrow and I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to ask you tough questions. Now, I knew a lot of the answers already, so I did. You'll see that on Monday. Then I asked him to create a video. And I didn't watch the video. I've been too busy all day. So I have no idea what this video is. But it's 3 or 4 minutes long. This is not a call for me supporting or saying that people don't make mistakes when they're 18 or 19. We'll address that on Monday. This has nothing to do with me. It won't affect me. It's not my life that I'm trying to advocate for. It's the party, the state party of Colorado, that's rotted with people that want to destroy each other at every turn. And what fed this fire was the county chair in Weld County, Hunter, being arrested for what can only be described as pedophile behavior. And frankly, everyone knew the guy for a long period of time. He had to have some behavior that would dictate that this is things that happen. See, I've talked to people that are young women that worked with Adam Dorito over the last couple of years. I said, is there any truth to this? They're like, no, none. But people would call them and tell them, I need to protect you, all in order to basically sully and destroy Adam Dorito. He's worked for the company he works for a long time. Then they picked up the phone and they called command because he actually made officer and chased the dream of making sure he had military service and he served our country, which he still is in right now. So I was able to see emails and see other things of the investigation that's happening in the government, and I feel satisfied. Now, can people fool you? Absolutely. Do I think Adam's fooling me? I do not. I do not. But he has a few words he wants to say. At the end of this, you can make up whatever you want. But on Monday, I want you to listen to the interview that we were able to have. And you tell me if this is the party that is going to do this going forward. Because if it is, I want no part of it. I want to be a part of a party for the people that gives back the ability for people to have a voice, not destroying voices so that you can selfishly serve. And that seemingly is all that has happened over the last 20 years in the Republican Party in Colorado. And the guys that are above that line, they love it. It's a gladiatorial contest. They can watch us destroy each other while they have opportunity in the chaos that's created. So let me pray us out, and then I'll let you watch the Dorito video. I call it the Dorito video. Father God, thank you for having us here. Thank you for the courage to be able to take a stand against people that will see that this is unpopular. Father, I just ask that those people try to reconcile their behavior with the people that they have hurt, and that we can get to a place where we can stop making up things about others and or chasing people to try and destroy them. Father, I am grateful for the strength that you have given me, and I'm grateful for the strength that you have given so many people, including our President, Donald J. Trump. I'm grateful for Pete Hegseth. I'm grateful for the people in our military. And I'm grateful for those people that feel like they have a calling that they need to commit to, and that they stay committed to that calling. Father, I just ask you to ask our leaders that when they stand up, they may do so and be protected by you, that they may have wisdom and they have the ability to have courage and to see things through to the end. And Father, I just ask you for forgiveness for those people that I may have just punched at that didn't deserve to be punched. And whatever happens, Father, I just ask you to bless and protect, and to give us the ability to restore you to our community, to our country, to the Republican Party of Colorado, to the world. We see what's happening in Europe, and truth is just that thing everyone wants to run away from. So, Father, I just ask you for grace and strength and the ability to win. I say these things humbly in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, we got Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. We also are on Roku now. That should be pretty awesome. And yeah, this is 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I'll let you hear from Adam's words. I'm going to stay on and listen just because I haven't heard it. And then we'll get ready to, we'll see you tomorrow.
My name is Adam Dorito, and my desire to serve my country has never ceased since I was 12 years old. It started with the Civil Air Patrol, the Fire Service, local first aid squad, search and rescue teams, and then joining the military when I was 18 years old. But not everything goes as expected. My experiences at the Air Force Academy were unexpected and not perfect. I made mistakes, I served my penance for them, and today I still continue to serve as a proud commissioned officer in the United States military. I wrote a book about my experiences at the Academy, and it's called The Guy in the Yellow Tie, and it has been approved for public release by the Department of War. I've dedicated my entire adult life fighting for those without a voice in the military justice system, sexual assault survivors, whistleblowers, and those who have been retaliated against. After the 20-year global war on terror, our generation has a responsibility to leave the world a better place than we were brought into as the 9/11 generation. It is one of the reasons that I decided to run for Congress. After years of inaction, repetitive cyclic failure, and stalled institutional reform, it is our responsibility as citizens of this country to be that change. What I didn't expect, however, was the horrific attacks taken against me. I've spent my entire life helping others and serving. Despite nearly over a decade of working on these reforms in Washington, D.C. and the Pentagon, I did not expect that such evil was present in local politics in Colorado. As someone who simply served in the military in the oil and gas industry for nearly 14 years now, I simply just want to improve the lives of my neighbors and fellow Coloradans. I have never been arrested. I do not have a criminal record. And currently, I hold a top secret security clearance. Situations that occurred when I was a very young man at the Air Force Academy have been greatly generalized, misinterpreted, and misconstrued. Members of my own political party and its affiliates have worked strenuously to harm me. This includes former Governor Bill Owens, his son Mark Owens, Darcy Shaning, Natalie Tennant, Eli Bremer, Steve Collier, Garrett Flicker, Trent Leisley, and other elected officials associated with these people. They have coordinated hit pieces with local media, openly called me a pedophile, and have admitted to interfering with election assemblies, harassed my staffers, admitted to interfering with my work in Washington, D.C., and have publicly stated that I should kill myself. Today, this will stop. I have met with my attorneys, and all legal actions are under review and consideration. Not only must accountability be taken if we are to fix the Republican Party here in the state of Colorado, but justice must be served to those who continuously and intentionally harm not only me, but other Americans who choose to participate in this incredible constitutional republic. As we approach the 82nd anniversary of D-Day in Normandy, France, and the 250th birthday of our great country, we must remind ourselves that evil does exist in the world. However, all it takes for this to fail is for good men and women to choose to do nothing. I took an oath to the Constitution, and I will defend it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I will do something. I will ensure that this does not continue, not only to ensure that the attacks stop on me, but to ensure that these attacks stop on others who choose to step up and serve. And then together, we can rebuild our party, our state, and our country. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with naming people in the deal, so I wanted to listen to it, and I think that there are some of those people in there that, frankly, were just asking questions. So I want to reserve judgment for those that have said things that are looking under the hood. I also want to tell you that it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And I'm going to be having a conversation with all these people collectively together. And if they decide to be contrite in their desires to go forward, then I can't negotiate that. But I am trying to, in good faith, negotiate a place where people could just lay down their arms. No lawsuits, we just decide that we're going to go straight forward and do the right thing for the people of Colorado. The reason why people walked away from the Republican Party is because we didn't let young people serve, and we were a shell of our former self. And I don't know if all of those people have said those things. I know a few of those people are really good people, and they've certainly never said it to me. And how did I get involved in this? Someone came to my office. Came to my office and asked me questions and wanted to ask if I was a part of it. I'm not, and nor will I be. And even though I'm not a big fan of Victor Marx or anything else, I'll stay transparent because I think transparency is a thing that builds trust. And if we want to have the rest of the communities, Democrats and independents, trust us, we got to be willing to take our own stuff out and fix it. So I'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend, and go Avs.
Rise up, untamed. In the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam, Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. us leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tamed nation, it's our battle song, motivation.